Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for coming today. And joining myself, Mike with SealMaster, sales manager for SealMaster of Hillsville, and Cody from SealMaster Corporate. And if you're not SealMaster, we are one of the largest pavement maintenance product and equipment suppliers in the United States. What we're here to demonstrate today is the hot pour mastic machine and the hot pour mastic material. For those of you not familiar with mastic, mastic is an amalgam of 5-6 components, multiple components, such as asphalt, rubber, resin, stone, fiber. Combined together makes a semi-self-leveling repair material that waterproofs, stabilizes, repairs, fills all in one step. Okay. Now the material is similar in chemistry to what you find with a crack sealant, but the asphalt and the rubber, but it stops there. Okay. Traditionally, most of your crack sealing materials, okay, they're going to have elastic qualities to them. Okay, there's going to be a small elastic quality to this product. It's not meant to be super elastic because it's designed to stabilize an area. If you have an alligator area and you want to keep that area from getting worse, okay, it'll seal it off, it'll stabilize it, it'll waterproof it, and unlike what you would encounter with a mill and fill or a saw cut patch, when you cut out the defect or mill out the defect and fill it in, you have joints. Okay. With this process, once it's laid into place, it's again filled, repaired, waterproof. It's basically a self-leveling liquid mill and fill. Okay, so and it's a very versatile product. It's installed at anywhere between 360 and 400 degrees. Okay, you can tailor the temperature based on the outdoor conditions, how fast you want to turn it over to traffic, and the installation type. If you're on slope, you might want to heat it a little cooler so it doesn't flow as much. If you're doing alligator spots, you want to lay it down thin, you might want to heat it up a little hotter. Right here, what we're going to do is we are going to remedy what one might find as a potential problem or issue before winter. We all know winter's coming. It's right around the bend. Now, you might have an elevation issue with a manhole or some type of water box, valves, catch basin, etc. It might catch a plow, damage a truck. Now, what I put over here, you'll see the preformed thermoplastic rings. They're great, easy to use, expensive. A kit will cost you anywhere between $250 to $300. Okay. With a parity product like Mastic, fraction of the cost, a 10th to a 20th of the cost. Plus, there are limitations with the preformed thermoplastic. You can overcook it very easily because you're burning it with a torch at thousands of degrees. And usually when they send you this kit, really only transitions up to a ½ inch. You can tailor the Mastic to transition multiple inches down to a better edge. Okay? And if it's, like Cody was saying, if it settles, you can touch it up. You can actually take a taping knife. You can use the drywall industry, heat it with a little MAP gas torch, and then you can really put some fine details on it. Okay? And just slowly taper that down the top. Okay? So next, what we're going to do, right at the front of the truck, we're going to be filling in just a low spot. There's no defined edges. Okay, we're just going to be filling a low spot. We're going to be fine with the wheel. All right. maybe a shove there at an intersection where you got heavy traffic that's stopping, it's moving the asphalt. Historically, you usually find that on newer asphalt, but you might even have like water, which is probably what this was. Again, all you do is pour and click. All you do is pour it in place. Cody's pouring in place, and again, it's a semi-self-leveling product. You will see a little bit of hyperbole, use a little creative license, a self-leveling product on road floors. Feel free to grab one before you leave. Really, all you do is just, tool with an iron, and you're done. That's a crew of 2 to 3 guys, 1 truck, 1 trailer, as opposed to, let's assume you might want to, say, build a field something like this. You're going to have 5, 6 guys, multiple trucks, a trip to the back. You have multiple hours involved in that there, yes.
How long till you can open it to
That's
traffic?
a great question. Okay, so how long can you open that to traffic? Depends on temperature outside, depends on ambient temperature, surface temperature. Right now, as it stands with this repair, probably somewhere in the order of about 15, 20 minutes. Now, can we speed it up? Yes, we can. We can speed it up. Okay, easiest way to do that, give it about 5 minutes to thermally meld with the surrounding substrate. Okay? Then what you're going to want to do is immediately fill it. In fact, you would do that right away. You can actually take some black beauty or some sand, broadcast it over the surface, and then give it 5 minutes to thermally bond. Get some water in a pump sprayer and mist it every 30 seconds. You can probably get it down to about 10 minutes. That's not terrible bad. Again, compared to your mill and fill, your saw cut patches, you're going to have 2-3 hours involved in something like that. I mean, even if you get all your cuts in a row, you're at the 2-hour mark. Whereas a repair like this doesn't take very long at all. As far as material availability, as far as equipment availability, odds are there's a SealMaster in every single one of your states. Probably easily within a couple hours where you're at. They rent out equipment there, they have material available there, they have local demonstrations available, and we're happy to help you no matter where you're at. So next, we're going to be heading over here. Cody, where'd you go? Okay.
Do you have any running problems with it?
Any running problems? No. No. I haven't had any running problems. I know exactly what you're talking about, running or shoving. It's sort of like a sister or a relative or cousin to crack sealants. Once you lay it down and it cures, it's very stable. It's extraordinarily stable. You can drive over it with a garbage truck, it will not shove. You can drive on top of it with a garbage truck, turn the tire several times as hard as you can, and you will not see very little deformation. Okay, so Cody's coming over here. Little cold pots in there already. That's the other thing too. This is not, it's a very effective product, and it definitely saves on time, labor, and as far as the longevity of the product, well installed mastic material can last upwards of 10 years. No joke, 10 years. But it's not the least expensive product out there, but again, if you look at some of the other metrics based off of longevity, based off of your labor, your input to craft a proper repair, it's actually less expensive than some of the alternatives. But if you want to back it with something first, maybe the guys might want to hop around the municipality, fill in some of the really, really deep areas with some hot patch first. They'd be more than welcome to do so. You really only need about, what do you think, about an inch of reveal, inch and a half of reveal, that's it. Inch and a half. So you can basically back everything else with hot patch or cold patch. Okay? We'll go over and do that one as well with the help.
Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
How thin can you go?
Almost out of edge.
Okay.
Almost feather edge. In fact, anybody driving home vis-a-vis Route 79, not very many people I'm imagining, unfortunately. They haven't done this on 70 yet, or at least anything on Route 70 or 76 that you can see. What they'll do is they will use this superficially on top of the road to stabilize the longitudinal joint. So when they pave like a highway, like the Turnpike or 70, 79, 76, what have you, at the longitudinal joint, I'm sure most people are well aware that's your weak link. That's the weakest part of the pavement. It's the lowest pavement density. So what they've been doing at PennDOT and various other states, they're using the Mastic material to bridge that joint. Okay, to create some like flexural qualities, to strengthen it, create some flexural qualities, because they are going to, it's a joint, it's a weak link, they're going to move. Okay. And it does a very good job of mitigating some of the issues that you're going to run into with, you know, maybe an alligator area. You have water settle in there, it's going to permeate into the cracks. So you basically just fill that in. And again, there are limitations with this. If the asphalt's falling apart, you put it on top of there, it's not going to work. You want to make sure that the surface is free of loose dirt and debris. You want to make sure that it's dry. So if it's wet, it's not going to work. There are onboard torches on the machines to ensure that you have a proper substrate to install the material.
What about the
Maximum
maximum thickness?
thickness, ideally, you can put it on as thick as you want. We've seen the best success in installing it at maximum 2-inch lifts at a time. Because if you put it down too thick, what ends up happening is that the material starts insulating. That thermal mass starts insulating itself very well, and it takes a long time for that to cool off. It takes a long, like if you put it in like 6 inches deep, it's going to take a half hour, 40 minutes to cool off. But if you put it in lifts of a couple inches at a time, it takes significantly less time to cool. You know, and when to do this? I guess you could do it in the summer. Honestly, best time to do it's like fall. You can even do it in the winter. You can even do it in the winter. You know, again, ideally your ambient temperature and substrate, but you can cheat. You can take the torch out, you can heat the pavement. There's going to be more work involved to get the substrate ready to be able to install this in colder temperatures.
And dry cast, what were you saying?
But,
It's not very important.
oh, somebody was mentioning concern about coefficient of friction, skid resistance, etc. Picture this like a diamond blade. If you actually ran your hand across, which I do not suggest right now, but if you ran your hand across the top of this this repair here after it dries and well, after it cures and cools off, it's going to be pretty rough. I mean, it's a little shiny. If you want to take that shininess off of there, you can broadcast Black Beauty on it. But this is going to act more like a diamond blade. As people drive over top of it, it's going to expose more and more stone, okay, as you wear it. And the skid resistance is going to get even better over time.
No, it'll move. Turn works or tire works?
Once it cools off, it's going to be very minimal, if anything. Like I said, you can turn truck tires over this. You can turn tires on a 747 on this thing on a hot day. It's not gonna deform very little, and it's not gonna fail. Any other questions? Any questions at all?
How much of an area can you cover?
That's a dynamite question. You can cover as big of an area as physically possible, okay? Your only limitation is how much labor you have to do the install and what your expectations are of the aesthetic of the repair, okay? It's gonna, you know, we're gonna have like an ugly but strong, you know, you've seen a gorilla weld before, ugly but strong. You're gonna have a very ugly but strong repair if you only have one guy finishing an area that's 10 by 20. Okay, I've done it. They don't look pretty. Over time, it'll end up looking better. It'll end up homogenizing with the rest of the road. You won't even notice. But you know, sky's the limit, really. But realistically, you'd have to probably weigh, you know, your capacity to install the material quickly or not. You know, if you guys are more comfortable with 3x3, then do 3x3 areas. If, you know, once you acclimate to the process, you're going to end up getting comfortable with bigger and bigger areas. It also comes in gray. Okay, so if you have any repairs on concrete and you're concerned about the aesthetic qualities of the material, there is a gray material. It is probably 2.5 times more expensive than the black material, the asphaltic material, just because of the added resin that's required. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got one more. What
Yes,
is
sir.
what is specific about the machine?
What? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you. Because I forgot all about that. Let's go over the machine a little bit. I don't want to get too close. It's going to get really loud. That's the SealMaster Mastic machine. We designed that piece of equipment with our contractors and installers in mind. Okay. The thing was is that, you know, we basically sampled all of the other clientele out there that have used other machines in the past, what the pitfalls of those machines are. So we designed a self-contained piece of equipment that's easy to use, right out the gate. It's got everything you need on board, okay, other than maybe like a backpack blower or, you know, a broom. It's got all your hand tools up front. It has a compartment. You see there's a dock for propane. That propane's fed to the back, and you can see the hose and the torch sticking up on the rear passenger side of the machine. That's going to be for drying out, patch repair areas, might have some moisture left in them, maybe just being like, you know, alligator areas that are still wet from, you know, the rain last night, or again, you still have entrained moisture in the substrate you want to dry out. So you get the dock for that. Okay, you got your Kubota diesel engine, planetary drive. That's a SealMaster exclusive. You have a 300-gallon capacity Mastic machine. There's a bucket heater. You'll see the door for loading the material, and immediately to the left of that, you'll see a pail heater for heating up the pail. On the back, we have a guillotine-style door. The chute is heated. You'll notice we actually have the chute is heated, as well as an extension chute that is heated from the exhaust from the diesel burner. On the opposite side of the Mastic machine, now traditionally what you'd have to do is either heat the, you'd have to heat up the tools individually with a torch. What we did was we put a giant diesel-fired oven on the opposite side of the machine. You feed all your tools in there, whatever tools you need. And you don't even really need to like lord over it, because when you go to heat up, I know the machine's off, but when you go to heat this up, all you do is hit the toolbox heater button, and what you do as soon as you hit that button, the Beckett diesel burner, the same type of diesel burner that's heating up the oil for the oil jacket that heats the Mastic material, is also heating up the tools. It's got a timer on it. You can set the timer for anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes. And again, it times out automatically, so you don't have to like babysit. You focus on the job. Okay? And you have a myriad of other switches and safety defaults on here, like high temperature reset. If it gets too hot, shuts all the processes down. Okay? The interlock function, it will not allow that agitator to run until it gets up to a certain temperature. That way you don't have to worry about damaging the agitator. We also have a burner failure light on here. That way you know, well, it's not getting hot, it's coming off, what's going on. As soon as that burner failure light comes on, that's one of two things that's going on. That's something you can check. As an added option, I think it's the only option, if I'm not mistaken, is the aero board / night lights / strobe feature. and it's got the complete package for doing nighttime work. I would recommend it. It's definitely, it comes on all of our rental units. Seeing as a lot of our units are used on Department of Transportation products for projects for PennDOT, ODOT, etc. We also have overnight heaters. So if you're doing patching from day to day, okay, and you know it takes an hour and a half to heat up, well, with these overnight heaters, it's going to take less time. They plug into a standard 110 outlet. Okay, so that's going to save you probably about 30 to 40% time first thing in the morning. So again, it's a very well thought out, self-contained, easy to use unit. You know, you don't got to babysit it, you don't got to worry about anything. It's we're really proud of it. Really happy with it. You know, any other questions? Price on the machine, you're looking at somewhere around $80,000 as it sits right now. There are rental options available. They are manufactured in Sandusky, Ohio, and they are serviced locally. Again, there is a SealMaster in virtually every state in the United States. In fact, one of the states where we didn't have one was in West Virginia, and as of this fall, there will be a SealMaster in Charleston, West Virginia. And in Pennsylvania, I believe there's, what, 7 or 8? 7 or 8 in Pennsylvania. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 or 4, 4 in Ohio, 4 in Maryland, etc., etc. Just 1 in Delaware. I know, how about that? So thank you all. Any other questions? I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening in. Anybody that would like, just like, you know, some a cut sheet on the masking machine and the process, just take a sheet. It's got my contact information on it. I might not be the sales manager for your area, but I'm happy to help if you have any questions.